Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over how to fix your Google Merchant Center. So, little overview. I had been dealing with Google Merchant Center misrep on several stores for a little over a year straight. So, I was trying to fix it for a long ass time, paid a bunch of people a bunch of money. Nothing ever fucking worked. And I'm only making this because I'm fed up with how little information these GMC gurus give. So, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint to get your GMC approved and how exactly to set it up. So, launching a free community in school. Link's going to be in the bio, and it is literally going to go step by step on exactly how to do this. And if you've already done a little research on YouTube, you understand how vague these GMC gurus are. So I'm just going to go over everything. Here's your average GMC guru, $1,000 up front with no guarantee. Yeah, fuck those guys. So main thing Google cares about is trust. That is the number one thing. If you create a store in 1 week and then go to create a Google Merchant Center and launch ads, you're instantly going to get misrep. Doesn't matter. Like you're screwed at that point. And it's a little bit different. So let's say you did do that and you went through all three misrep tries and you delete your Google Merchant Center account and you try again. So at that point, you're pretty much screwed. You're pretty much going to have to change everything about your brand, start a new Shopify store. And that's, but in itself, to do it correctly, it's going to take another 2 months to get this right. And like, at my point, you're already screwed if you've gone through your 3 reviews. Like you're screwed. You're not getting it approved. Doesn't matter if someone's like, oh, pay me $2,000 and we'll get it fixed for you. No, you're genuinely screwed. Just start over. It is not worth the trouble of spending months and months and months of trying to get a store that's inherently screwed fixed. And maybe you've done some research and you're like, oh, there's someone that says they have an insider that can get my store unsuspended. In my experience, they're all full of shit. All these people, they're super vague, and their only purpose in life is to take thousands of dollars from you. So, where'd that go? Okay, number one thing you're gonna want to do when starting a new store to get Google Merchant Center approved, you want to make sure your domain is not brand new. You want the domain to be at least 14 to 30 days old before creating a Google Merchant Center account. I would buy a couple immediately, let them gain some age. Biggest thing with this, I would wait 30 days before creating a GMC just to play it safe. Because again, biggest thing is going to be trust. And there's nothing trustworthy about a freshly made domain. There's another strategy you can do. I'll talk about more in a different video on how you can get an aged domain. But I personally would just age my domain for 14 to 30 days minimum. Number 2, you want an aged Gmail. So you're going to create your store at gmail.com. This Gmail you're only going to use for Google Merchant Center, Google Ads, verify with a dedicated phone number, and then you're probably going to get banned as soon as you create this Gmail because you're going to be creating it on a proxy. The proxy is super important. I'll go over here. Proxy is super important because if you've had past GMC suspensions, Google can track your IP, and that causes linkage between accounts, and then you're just automatically going to get suspended. So super important to create a proxy. And in the link below, I'm going to have an in-depth video on how to actually create the proxy, get this all set up. And then you don't want to have a virtual phone number. Don't just create a phone number from Go High Level, Google Voice. You're going to want a real SIM you can use on your phone. I recommend Trello. You can buy an eSIM there. It's like $10 a month for unlimited calls and text. Obviously, after your Google Merchant Center gets fixed, after a month or so, you can go and port this number out and connect it to a CRM or whatever you want to do. And then number 5, this is where everyone messes up. You want very unique policies. So these are all the policies you're going to need minimum. I highly recommend building a frequently asked questions page, even if you got no sales. Just make sure you have this. I have templates to all these below, but you're going to want to rewrite all of them in your own words. Just throw it in ChatGPT, ask it to rewrite it slightly. Another big thing with this is if what you say in your policies don't match your Google Merchant Center account, then you're going to get banned. And that's a very common reason for misrep as well. Number 6, you want a unique about page. This one just helps build a lot of trust. I would handwrite this one. Don't use AI. Keep it simple, honest, human. Don't make any wild or untrue claims about your company. No fake history. Don't be like, we've been in business for the last 10 years. We have 100 5-star reviews. That's exactly what Google is going to misrep you for. Google's looking for a trustworthy page, and any lying or misleading claims, you're just going to get misrep. They're not idiots. The biggest thing is Google cares about trust. That's the biggest thing it comes down to. If you rush this and you speed through this process, let's say you create a store in one day, you create the Gmail, you create the Google Merchant Center account, it's going to show approved until you try and run ads, and then they're going to misrep you. And that's what a lot of people do. To get a Google Merchant Center approved, it genuinely is going to take you a month or two minimum, 2 months max. But it is easier to take your time, go slow, make sure everything is congruent versus just rushing through this, getting a misrep, and then you're stuck in this awful process of just trying to fix the problem. Even if you become compliant after that point, they're still just going to misrep you anyway. Few other resources I have is you can use Microsoft Clarity. I would install that. And then when you go for reviews, you can actually see exactly what they're looking at. So if, for example, you install Clarity and you see whoever's reviewing your account, if they just go on there and instantly leave, you're fucked. You're never getting that store approved. At that point, you just got to start over. And a couple other things to know. Yeah, if you hire anyone to do it for you, it's most likely just going to be a waste of time and money. It's better to go slow. Again, I cannot stress this enough. If you've been dealing with this for more than a month, you're going to keep dealing with this until you decide to take your time and go slow and get it right the first time. Typically, what happens is you're going to want your domain to age. That's number one. Get an aged domain. I would wait 30 days before going for GMC. You're going to set up your proxy. Then you're going to set up your Gmail inside your proxy. That is the only place other than your phone that your Gmail is going to be and you'll have access to. This is super, super important. If you go and access that Gmail on a browser that's not your proxy, they're going to find linkage between your computer that got banned and the new GMC account, and you're screwed because they're going to track. Google tracks everything. That's the truth of the matter. All right, so let's say, for example, you've had a store that's got misrepped. You've gone through all 3 reviews, and then you close that account, create a new one. Obviously, it's still going to get misrepped. At that point, you got to start over. So that means new everything, new phone number, new website, new Shopify account. You're going to have to transfer the theme. It's going to be a lot of work. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's how this game works sometimes. But it's going to be better to do that than trying to fight this Google Merchant Center misrep that you're never going to fix. And some other people might tell you otherwise, but I had this happen for a year and a half straight. I've gone through all their stupid guides. I've paid people thousands of dollars to try and fix this for me. Some people were even like, oh, we'll set up, you build a new website. We're going to make sure it's compliant. We're going to create the Google Merchant Center account and make sure you get unbanned. Did not work. So everything has to be congruent. You can't speed through this process. Chances are, if you have a new domain, new Gmail, you're not going to get approved, period. That's how it is. So focus on going slow, making sure your website doesn't look like a temporary storefront, making sure everything's congruent. I'm going to have step-by-step resources down below on how exactly to do this, because if I were to talk about all of this in one video, it would be over an hour long and it'd be super, super overwhelming. I cannot stress this enough. If you don't look trustworthy, you're not going to get approved. You want to make it look like you're a legitimate business. And as soon as you actually get your Google Merchant Center approved, it's a cash cow. Google ads are, like everyone knows, they're the easiest to scale. You make the most money from them, and they're really fucking easy. This is the exact course of action you're going to take. If your Google Merchant Center is already suspended, you've gone through your 3 reviews, you've already tried to make another Google Merchant Center account, got banned again, you're going to have to start over. So that means creating a new Shopify account, getting another 3-month trial, rebranding, changing everything about yourself, new emails, new phone numbers. You can find a new virtual address. I personally don't link real business information into Google Merchant Center, and I verify as an individual. Also highly recommend that. If you've verified as a business with Google Merchant Center, then in the past, I would highly recommend verifying as an individual this time. That's the easiest way to do it. So from there, after you create your new store, I know it sounds crazy. After you create your new store, you're going to want to make sure all your store policies are unique. There's no typos. All the emails are hyperlinked. All the phone numbers are hyperlinked. You have contact information at the bottom. So that's going to be your store name, whatever it may be, your business operation hours, your email, your phone number, your address. And then your typical response time. In the footer, you're gonna have all those policies linked along with the About Us page, the frequently asked questions page, and pretty much fill it up with anything that's gonna make you look more legit. Um, I would avoid adding pages like blogs. That's another thing that might flag Google. Um, Warranties, any outrageous claims, even though warranties not even outrageous, you want to avoid any words that have the word warranty, guarantee, price match guarantee. Don't do that. No sales tax. All of that stuff is horrible. You're just going to get banned. And then before you go to create a new Google Merchant Center, I have a pre-submission checklist. You're going to want to check for any dead links. That's another big one. They'll scan your entire website with bots, and if you have any dead links, you might get misreps for that. And then as soon as your Google Merchant Center is set up, after all that, it's, of course, it's going to say approved until you go and try and create ads. You're going to actually want to trigger a misrep. I know, as crazy as that sounds, sometimes it doesn't happen for people if they're already compliant. But when you go to create ads, chances are you're going to get a misrep, and you're going to have Microsoft Clarity installed. So you'll be able to see exactly why they're giving you the misrep. So you're going to be able to go in, fix that, wait a couple days, and then request review. And then bam, working Google Merchant Center. So after it's approved, you're going to have to be very, very cautious for the next month or two. I would only start with uploading products. I would say 5 a day on Simprosis. And then after a week, go to 10. And after 2 or 3 weeks, you're good to upload like a shit ton of products. So it's a very slow cook. But again, it's really, really good money as soon as you get it approved, especially if you know what you're doing. You've had issues with this in the past. Just follow this guide and you will get your Google Merchant Center approved. This is the most up-to-date information you will find. I'm so sick of people giving vague information on this. I literally have this all mapped out step by step below. Should be launching in a couple days. Again, it's free right now. But this is literally going to be the only thing you're going to need to get an approved Google Merchant Center account based on my mistakes. Any questions, let me know down below. I'm going to leave a link if you want to learn more about this, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.